Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Girls Night Live. I don't know why I like to sing the days of the week to you. Thank you for joining us today. We're so excited to have you here. I'm Misha Casagrande. I'm going to be helping out our fabulous guest today, but just so excited for you all to be here. This program is brought to you by the Sisterly Love Collective. It's a partnership that we have, an alliance of women restaurateurs and food entrepreneurs across the city of Philadelphia, jointly promoting their sustainable success. Sisterly Love, you'll want to check them out. I will drop their link in the chat as we go today. But today, it is all about Diana. We're so excited to have her here. Diana is a self-taught home baker with a love for sweets. And while macaroons were her first baking experience, her talents have expanded to other treats and the start of her at-home baking business, Ayala. Yes, did I say it right? I hope I said it right. Treats in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. She is joining us from Texas. Let's give her a great big Girls Night Live welcome.
Hi. Hi, everyone. So as Aisha said, my name is Diana. I am the owner of Ayala Treats, an at-home bakery here in Texas. So I'm a self-taught baker. I started Ayala Treats in 2019. It was at a time where I didn't know what to do. I had just graduated with my biology degree, but I couldn't find a job in my field. So I felt very defeated. That's when I stumbled across a video on macarons on YouTube. So I decided to give it a go. And at first I struggled because they're quite challenging, even if it doesn't look like they are. But after a few practices, I finally got them down. And I had people asking me, can I buy them from you? Can you make them for my party? So that's where Ayala Treats started. Now, since then, I've expanded to making other things. I love making cakes now. I make brownies, cookies, and now my obsession is Conchas. So today, that's what I'll be showing you to do. So last year here in Texas, we had a winter storm and we had nowhere to go. So I thought to myself, well, if I can't go buy conchas to enjoy with some hot coffee, let me learn how to make them and eat them here at home. So that's where my love for conchas came in. I've always liked them, but I didn't know how to make them. But now I do, and I will show you how. So basically what conchas are Mexican sweet bread. They're a staple of Mexican culture. So it's very common to enjoy them for breakfast or in the cold weather. That's what conchas are. It's an enriched bread. It's an enriched bread that contains butter, eggs, sugar, spices of your choice. I like to use cinnamon. It's enriched because compared to regular bread only contains flour, water, and salt. That's pretty much all that regular bread contains. So that's why Mexican bread is known as enriched. So if you follow me on Instagram, I did let you guys know to have your dough ready to bake or to roll, I'm sorry. So right now what I'm putting in my bowl is the ingredients to make the topping. So that's the flour, butter, vanilla, and sugar. Also some food coloring. We're making them pink today. So that's why they're going to be pink for Valentine's Day. So the topping comes together very fast. It takes about 5 minutes. So in the meantime, I do have my oven preheated because I made some already just to show you how they look like after they're baked. And sorry if the mixer's a little bit high and you can't hear me. You can let me know if you have questions before we proceed to actually shaping the dough.
Diana, we can hear you great. It actually mutes out the mixer, so you are good to go.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna let that go for about 5 minutes. until it's ready. And then we'll go ahead and get started with actually shaping our dough. Let me put some gloves on. So if you didn't prepare the dough, that's okay. You can try later. Ooh, this is not working. You can try later. It's very simple. Same thing that we're doing with the topping. You put all of the dry ingredients in the bowl with your butter. You let that come together for about 2 minutes. And then you add in the egg and the vanilla. You let that come together for 2 minutes. And then you gradually add the warm milk. And you let it knead for about 3 to 4 minutes. And then you have your dough. So you basically let the mixer do all of the work for you. So it's a very simple recipe. The only thing is that it does take quite some time because you need to allow for the dough to rest. So I have some butter here, and I'm going to butter my pan to make sure that when I bake my conchas, they don't stick to my pan.
Diana, we do have a couple of questions while you're mixing that. Can I ask those to you?
Yes, go ahead.
LA Dove is asking, what hook or paddle are you using in your mixer?
I'm using a paddle attachment. So it's this one right here.
Okay.
It's a paddle attachment. If you don't have a stand mixer, that's okay. You can use a hand mixer, or you can also do it by hand. It may take a little bit longer, but it's possible to do it with your hand. So here I'll actually finish off the topping. Here in a little bit, I'll finish it off using my hand.
Okay, and Lakeisha from Instagram, what do you find most rewarding about baking?
It's just, I love receiving messages from my customers letting me know how much they loved their treats and how happy it makes them that I was able to make something that they were looking for their special occasions. So it's very rewarding when people come to you also and they say, well, I was recommended to you by this other person, and that other person is a longtime customer also. Okay. That's very rewarding because I love baking. It's kind of an escape for me. So for my baked goods to be enjoyed by people, it just feels good. It's a really good feeling. And knowing that their special occasion was also made better with my treats, that's very rewarding.
I love that. And Claire from Instagram says that she read that you work a full-time corporate job from 9 to 6 and then bake from 6 to 12. Aren't you exhausted?
Yes, I'm very exhausted all the time. So let me get this going a little bit longer. I'm very exhausted all the time, but it's worth it at the end because I enjoy it. And I'm working towards just focusing on Ayala treats full time. So we'll get there. But as of right now, you got to do what you got to do. So that's my current business model: work corporate job and then do my baking on the side. So that's pretty much done here. So as I had mentioned to you, I'll finish it off here by hand. Let me grab some parchment paper to set it on there. And then once we're satisfied with the topping, we'll start shaping our conchas. And just to make sure that we have enough time, I'm only going to shape a little bit just that you can see how they're made. So this is the topping. It will form a paste-like texture, kind of like Play-Doh. But this is pretty much done. So for now, we're going to set it to the side, or whenever we're ready to roll our conchas. Let me actually put some in the oven because I have my oven preheated. That way you guys know also how they look like once they're baked. Oh, let me try.
And if any of you tuning in have questions, please drop them in the chat and I will make sure that she has the opportunity to answer them all. Kat is asking, can you make regular size conchas with this recipe?
Yes, so that's also what I'm going to go over right now. So it's your choice if you want to make the minis or not. I just think they're really cute minis. And since conchas are bread, they do tend to have a drier texture than your typical, sweet treats. So a lot of people don't really like to eat a big one. So that's where the mini ones come in. You get to enjoy a concha without feeling bad that you didn't finish the whole thing. So I have the dough here. It has doubled in size. When I first made it, it was half of this. But I like to use a teaspoon to measure out about 10 grams. That's the size of my minis. So we're gonna weigh out, I'd say let's do 4 of the minis. That's too big. There we go. So 4 of the minis, and then we'll do 4 of the regular, bigger sized ones. Something to keep in mind though, when you make them in different sizes, the minis will take about 12-13 minutes to bake compared to the bigger ones that they will take about, I'd say 16 to 18 minutes. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. The temperature can stay the same. So I have my oven at 325 Fahrenheit. And that will stay the same, but change the baking time if you change the size of them. So we're doing 4 minis. There are 10 grams. And then we'll do 4 bigger ones that will be 40 grams.
LA Dev,
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
LA Dev is asking, do you have a video to see the method of how you make the dough?
Yes, I do have one already on my YouTube. And then I'm also working on a new tutorial because the one that I have on YouTube has hot chocolate bombs involved with it. And the one that I'm working on right now is completely dedicated to mini conchitas, or to conchas. So you can check out my YouTube for that video, and then later on this week, or possibly until next week, I'll post the one that's just focused on the conchas.
And Noella is asking, can you add extracts for flavored toppings or bread?
Yes, you can. So to the topping, you can go crazy, basically. You can experiment. I haven't gotten there yet, but I do want to experiment with the flavors of the toppings. So for my pink ones, I will typically add strawberry flavor. Let me show you the one that I use. And I got this on Amazon. This one here. This one gives great flavor, strawberry flavor. But yeah, you can go crazy with the topping flavors. To the dough, I recommend adding spices, not extracts. Or if you have powdered extras, then you can add that. But let's go ahead and start shaping our dough. Sorry, I'm trying to get in the camera here.
We can see
this is how big the minis look. And now we're going to roll them. So first what we do is shape them into a little ball like this. Okay, so we put them on our pan. Right now, we're not going into the heart shape yet. But what I do is I fold it into itself. And then I roll it in between my palms.
Irene has asked, how precise do you have to measure the little balls of dough?
I am just kind of a perfectionist, so I like for all of them to have the same weight. You don't have to, and also if you don't have a scale, you can just eye how big you want your conchas. Again, something to keep in mind is depending on how big you make them, it's going to change the baking time. So if you make some that are different than the other and you put them on the same pan, some of them are going to cook faster than the other. So that's why also I like to make sure that I make them the same size for even baking. So now we're going on to the bigger ones. Again, I fold it into itself and then I roll it. Make sure you don't have any open gaps, because then when they bake, they'll open up and they won't have a round shape if you're making them round, or your heart shape won't.
Amanda from Instagram is asking, should you put flour on your hands so they don't stick to you?
This dough is actually very good, very easy to work with. So you don't need to unless your dough gets super sticky. So if your dough starts to getting sticky, then you can go ahead and add some flour. I've had some people tell me that their dough came out very sticky. So your dough should be a little bit sticky to the touch, but not too sticky to where you can't get it off your fingers. But if you do happen, or if it does happen that it starts getting stuck to your hands or your fingers, add a teaspoon or two of flour, and that should help. Okay, now here comes the fun part. So I wanted to make them hearts just in time for Valentine's Day. So we're going to use some scissors, and these have to be scissors that you only use for your kitchen, okay? So make sure you have clean scissors, and we're going to cut a slit down the middle, going a little bit farther than halfway. And that's how we're going to make our heart shape. Then same thing with the bigger ones. Cutting a slit down the middle. A little bit farther than halfway. Now we're going to actually form that heart shape. So what we're gonna do is hold it from the top where I made the cut. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the right one here. Hold it from up here where you made the slit, and then pinch the bottom half to form a V. Like that. And then we're going to flatten it out. Sorry guys, I'm trying to see the best way that you can see it correctly.
Diana, so we can see them. It's okay. It's actually a good view. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you hold it from the top here, and then you form a V at the other end. Then once you have that V shape, you will flatten it out to form that heart. And the reason why we want to make sure that they're flat is so that they hold that heart shape, because as you let them prove, they will lose that heart shape. So by flattening them, you can ensure that they hold that heart shape. So it does get a little bit tedious when you do a lot of them mini size, but I like it. Okay, now we have the mini shaped. It'll be the same process for the bigger ones. So same thing, we hold it from the top here, and then we make a V with the bottom. And you kind of flatten out the pointy ends too, where you cut this slit. Then once you have that V, you should flatten it. And there you have your heart shape.
Tori from Facebook is asking, what other treats do you bake?
I bake macarons. I started my business with macarons. I also make brownies. I make cookies. Last year I started offering cakes, but I found that they're very time consuming and I don't have the time for them right now. So I took them off my menu, but I'm thinking of adding them again because they keep getting requested and I feel bad saying no. So hopefully here in the future, I'll go ahead and add them to my menu again. But that's pretty much it. I do love experimenting with other things. So who knows, maybe later on too, I'll add more things.
Okay. Janine from Facebook asked, why did you choose to start baking macarons rather than cupcakes or muffins?
Because I had always seen them at the store and my mom would never want to buy them because they're quite expensive. So, you know, every now and then she would buy them, but I wanted to have them all the time. So I said, well, let me learn how to make them. And also it's the first tutorial video that I came across when I was very sad and didn't know what I wanted to do with my life after getting my degree. So that's how that worked out. Now that we have the heart shape, we're going to weigh out our topping. Depending on the size of your conchas, I like to kind of half how much topping they get. So for the mini, since they're 10 grams, I'm going to weigh out 5 grams of topping, or about 5 grams. It could be a gram or a gram less or a gram more. And then for the bigger ones, they're 40 grams. So we can do about 20 for the topping. Okay, let me check on the ones I have in the oven. My oven mitt, sorry.
And everyone, we have put the recipe and there's a link to the recipe in the chat. So you can go ahead and grab a copy of that there, as well as all of her social media handles and her YouTube channel. So you can go check out some of the fun things that she has done.
Okay, since I put 2 trays in there, it's going to take a little bit longer. So I'm going to add about 2 minutes. When I first put them in there, I think I added, or I put it at, what did I say, 12 minutes? But we're almost there with the topping. 4 for that, and then we said 20 for the bigger ones. With the topping, you could also add cocoa powder. And that will give it a brown color and also a chocolate flavor. So it doesn't necessarily have to be extracts. You can use cocoa powder. Let me get this out of the way. Now with the topping, if you have a tortilla press, you can use a tortilla press. If you don't, that's okay. I'll show you here how to shape them with your hand. Same thing with the dough, roll it in between your palms and then flatten it out. And then use your fingers to flatten it out even more. And then what you can do is put it on here, on the concha. Oh, wait, I forgot something. You actually have to add butter to the top to make sure that the topping sticks. So let me do that with the bigger ones too. This one will be fine. And then you take off the excess. Oh, hold on. Okay, our minis are ready. Let me check on the bigger ones. The bigger ones need about 2 more minutes.
Diana, Irene is asking, is it possible to roll out the dough and use a cookie cutter?
I thought about that to make the process easier. So I'd say try it out and see if it works. I think you can, to be honest. I don't see why that shouldn't work. But I'll experiment with that too, because I was wondering. Another thing you can do for the heart shape and the topping is if you have a cookie cutter shape in the shape of a heart, you can use that. So if you use a heart cookie cutter, you can cut it out. It'll form that heart. Then you can put it on top of your concha. Sorry, on top of your dough. It's faster if you just roll it, flatten it, and then put it on top and cut off the excess though. It's up to you, whatever your preference is. Sometimes the topping will break on you. That's okay, you can just start over. And if it just doesn't want to work with you and it keeps falling apart, that's okay too. You can just put it on and it'll be fine.
Glenna is asking, can you use regular flour?
You can use regular flour. I like to use, for the topping, I do like to use regular flour because I found that it gives me a firmer topping. Now for the actual dough, I like to use bread flour. Bread flour has a higher protein content, so therefore it develops more gluten. And that's what we have that's what we want when we make bread. We want more gluten so that it can have, little air pockets in there and it can be nice and fluffy. Okay, 1 second, guys. Done. So just for the sake of time, let me just show you how it would work with the bigger ones. And then we'll get to actually stamping them. With the bigger ones, same process. You flatten it out. It's going to take a little bit longer since it's bigger. But same thing, you just put it on top. And then you take off the excess to hold that heart shape. Then you can flatten it out and keep pinching the tip so that it holds your heart shape. Now, the reason why conchas are called conchas is because of the little designs that they get on top. This one, it's a typical seashell. So seashell translates to concha. So that's why they have that name. So I have these bread stamps here and I like to press pretty firmly to make sure that they get the design. See that there. And then same thing with the bigger ones.
As you're doing that, Jessica did ask what brands do you recommend? And I believe she put that in there when you were talking about flour.
Which
Is there
brand?
a certain brand you like to use?
For dough, for the dough?
I think so. Jessica, if you have more specific, because I'm not sure.
And that's what it will look like. So this is freshly assembled. Once you let them proof, again, they're going to puff up and they will kind of lose the pointy shape here. That's why you want to flatten them out. That's how they look pre-baked. And then now let me show you what they look like once they're baked. Change flow.
And Jessica was asking about what flowers you like.
I like to use, I can't quite remember their name that well. I would have to check here if you don't mind waiting, going into my pantry, and then I'll tell you which one I use. So let me get this out of the way so I can show you the ones that are already baked.
And Laura's asking, what if you don't have a bread stamp? Can you score it with a knife?
You can. So you can score it with a knife, or you can use one of these. Let me show you. One of these. The edges, you can use it to score. Here, I'll show you on this one that's already stamped. So you can do it this way. See? Or you can use a knife. Okay. These are the baked minis. And these are the baked bigger ones. I'll show you what they look like from the bottom. If my gloves cooperate, sorry. Should have got better gloves. I'm almost there. Okay, so here are the minis, and they're a little bit warm. So, sorry guys, this glove is not working out for me. I'm gonna try another one.
Laura said they're beautiful. Mandy from
Thank you.
Facebook said they look so yummy. They do.
Okay, this is better.
So LA Dev is asked, she says she's never had one. What do they taste like?
They have a vanilla flavor, but picture your favorite type of bread, but sweet. So the dough is soft and the topping is crunchy. So when you bite into it, it's soft but crunchy at the same time. They're really, really good. So I'll open one up for you. So you can see there the bread and then the topping.
Chandra says they're so cute. Peg from Facebook says looks delicious. And then Kathy asked for the product name of the strawberry additive.
Where did I put it? Okay. It's Flavor Delights. I got it on Amazon. So I just add about 1/4 of a teaspoon when I make them chocolate. So then the bigger ones here, you can actually take them a little bit more. You can bake them a little bit longer and they'll have a deeper color to them. Mm. But there you go. That's what they look like. You can enjoy them with hot chocolate, with milk, with coffee. I enjoy them with coffee for breakfast. They're really, really good. And I do hope that you guys try out the recipe. You don't have to make them into hearts. This is just for Valentine's Day. You can make them into the regular circle ones and whatever size you want to make them. Let me check really fast on the flour that I use.
So again, everyone tuning in, I'll put in the comments again, all the contact information so that you can follow Diana.
It's Gold Medal. That's the name of the flower. And if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can go to my website, ayalatreats.com, and you can order your conchitas. I'm more than happy to make them for you. Just make sure that you order at least 2 weeks in advance. Because given with my job and now I'm getting, more customers, That's why I require the 2 weeks. But you can also find me on Instagram, same name, Ayala Treats, TikTok, Ayala Treats. I don't really use Facebook, but I'm on there, Ayala Treats. So it's up to you where you want to follow me. But I really enjoyed this. And if you do make them, please tag me. I would love to see them.
So we do have a couple of questions. They're beautiful. Thank you so much. That was a fantastic presentation. And you made, I mean, if I looked at those, they look like they'd be so hard to make, and you actually made it look very easy. So Christina's asking how much, oh, I hope I say this right. Is it anise seeds would I add to this dough recipe?
Is it anise?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say you can try about a little bit less than 1/4 of a teaspoon, because I add cinnamon. I add a little bit less than 1/4 of a teaspoon. You can try with that. Then if you feel that you want a stronger flavor, you can add more the next time you make them.
Okay, and Alyssa was asking if this video will be posted, and yes, we will have it on our social media channels, so you can go when this broadcast is over and you'll be able to find it there as well. LA Dove says, thank you. Looks like a great treat to bake. We just thank you so much. This was so fun to watch and learn from you, and it's so impressive all that you're doing. And I have no doubts that you are just going to turn this into a business that is just full of passion and that you can just keep enjoying. So thank you everyone for tuning in today. If you're here on Zoom, we're going to give you, you can stay on because we'll give you a minute to unmute yourself and talk directly to Diana. But we do thank all of you, those that are on our social pages as well. Tune in later this week. Tomorrow we have do-it-yourself Valentine's paper roses. They're beautiful. And Thursday's Valentine's Day with a side of fashion. Yours truly here was giving the presentation there. So I wish I had these to go with my cocktails that I'll be doing on Thursday. So both of those are at 4 p.m. Eastern. So right now, if you're joining us on Zoom, just stay here. For the rest of you, thank you so much for being here. And we will look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye everyone on socials.